formally wish good morning to all in Harris Hall and welcome those joining us online. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Lane County Board of County Commissioners to order. It's Tuesday, April 29th, 2025. As the county tends to end to be in an acronym swing, I want to call today is National ACCC Day. And what that means is it's Automatic Continuous Clothing Closure. In other words, today we celebrate National Zipper Day. In 1917, a Swedish engineer, Gideon Sundback, was given the credit of inventing the zipper. So happy Zipper Day, everyone. And to our flag, in lieu of the board not saying the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like to call attention to our flag. And when our flag is folded, you notice that it takes shape of a triangle, symbolizing the early colonial military hats, and also symbolizing the great sacrifices that went into such great service. So today we remember all of our men and women of our military who serve, who have served, and have given much, especially when those who have given all. Well, good morning to my esteemed colleagues. Thank you for joining us and serving the public alongside of you. I'm pleasured and honored to do so. And good morning to you, Mr. Mokrahysky. Happy Zipper Day, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
Great, thank you.
Any adjustments to our agenda, sir?
Just one that we had noted under county administration, we'd give an update on elections. We won't have that update today. We are going to recognize our elections team, but we'll have an update on the election, the spring election next week.
Good deal. And is there any emergency business?
No.
Well, we have one of our favorite item 3 things coming up, which is employee recognition. And without stealing your thunder, Mr. Mokrahysky, I'll let you introduce the show and the players, please. How's that sound?
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. I'd like to welcome Mr. Rickoff up here to join me. We have 2 recognitions today. The Lane Council of Governments each year recognizes different individuals and teams and elected officials for outstanding work. This year, our Assistant County Administrator, Greg Rickoff, who also serves as our Director of Community Justice and Rehabilitation Services, was recognized as the Lane Council of Governments Outstanding Public Employee. They had an event in Cottage Grove on March 7th of this year, and we had the ability to recognize Mr. Rickoff, told the story about the yellow pillow. Maybe you can share that story with others afterwards. But just an incredible career in public service, spanning work with the City of Eugene, with the University of Oregon, and over the nearly the past decade here with Lane County. And so it's our pleasure. We had to drag him here because he did not want to get recognized, doesn't want to be in front of and be the center of attention. But I reminded him that as much as individual recognitions are about the person we're recognizing, it's also about lifting up the example to others of what we value and hold dear in great examples of what public service looks like in our community. And Mr. Rickoff is that. He's a go-to person for, as you all know, for people across our organization who trust him, who rely on him as a trusted voice to go to with questions and challenges. I will tell you that I lean on Mr. Rickoff all the time. I think one of the comments that I made at the LCOG dinner was that he's like a human whisperer. That, you know, he has this incredible ability to work with people, particularly through really challenging situations, and come out the other side even better. And so I oftentimes have thrown some of the biggest challenges at Mr. Rickoff. Particularly personnel-related challenges or people issues that are really complex and thorny, and he just has a masterful job of respecting different perspectives and understanding the goals that we're trying to achieve. His background in mediation and dispute resolution have come in handy for sure in that regard, and so I could go on, but I just wanted to we wanted to lift up Mr. Rickoff for his incredible work here at Lane County and his commitment to public service over the past several decades.
Mr. Rickoff, you have the microphone.
Chair level commissioners, thank you very much. This is difficult for me, and they did surprise me. One would say trick me into attending the LCOG dinner to recognize the elections team, which is very worth recognizing. As I've shared with Commissioner Farr on numerous occasions since our careers have run in parallel, this really has been the most remarkable organization I've ever had the chance to work for, and I have greatly appreciated these days. It's humbling to join the other individuals who've received this award, and As I said, recognition is very difficult. I'm grateful for it, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. This is a great organization with remarkable people, great leadership, and yeah, I appreciate this very much.
One other comment, I failed to mention that the specific thing that Mr. Rickoff was actually nominated by a member of the community. So I find it always, you know, I think it's a wonderful thing when our employees are recognized for their outstanding work, particularly from folks in the community, for his work and the deflection program. And I wanted to note that because on Friday, and Chair Lovell and Commissioner Trieger, I know were here at the graduation. Was it the second graduation that we've had 7 individuals? Yep. I mean, I was in tears.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a dry eye in the room, but you had 7 individuals. You had our district attorney, you had court staff, you had Clint Riley, who's our deflection manager. These 7 individuals who have in different ways engaged with law enforcement in the course of the last 3 or 4 months, been in the deflection program. This is a new program that was created after the reform work for Measure 110, right? To create a higher level of accountability for individuals that are engaging in lower level offenses, but to get people connected with services. So these 7 individuals were being recognized for graduating from this program, anywhere from 90 to 120 days in the program. They're navigators, the individuals that work with them, that engage, so that it's not just, you know, law enforcement and corrections facilities that people are dealing with, but they're actually getting connected to services. And they were just in, you know, we don't have time to go through all of it. I would encourage folks, because it is open to the public, we're doing these quarterly. Yes. You know, inquire about it, because I'll tell you, it was the best part of my week. Last week was to hear the stories and to see the impact on the lives of these individuals who made a mistake, but were given an opportunity to rectify it, to turn their lives around. They were given the support necessary to do it, and now they're on a better path. And so it's one of those win-wins. Creating a program like that, it was established by the legislature, funded by the state, and other counties are trying it. No other county in Oregon is doing it like we are. And, you know, that's just a fact, because when we go and meet with everyone else, they're saying, well, it's not written. Our people are like, it is, we are killing it. Yeah. Because of the people like Greg, the people like Clint Riley, the engagement with the district attorney's office and law enforcement agencies. It's really, so I could just go on and on about that, but it's those types of initiatives that we don't talk enough about, and it is important because trust in government, I think, as I mentioned last week, it's sort of a historic low, and yet there's really incredible work that's happening by the people that are serving in government, like Mr. Rickoff. So I'll stop there. Here, turn it over to you.
Great, thank you very much. I would look this to the colleagues for about a minute of comment. We do have a 10 o'clock time certain and 14 people for testimony, so we'll have to make some adjustments, but please take a minute or two and congratulate Mr. Rickoff.
It may be 2 minutes, Greg. I'm looking around the room, and I think I've probably known you longer than anybody else in this room. It's been quite some time. I'm thinking back into February 1995, when I was attending my first Eugene Human Rights Commission meeting. And I was in the room. It was a crowded room, busy room, and it was full of people like James Dean was there, and Francisca Olivia Johnson was there, Chuck Dalton was there, ready to give lessons. And in the middle of the room was this one individual who seemed to be in charge of everything, knew everybody, was friends with everybody, compadres with everybody, accomplices with everybody. And that one person looked over at me and said, Councillor Farr, I'm Greg Rickoff. And at that moment, I knew that I was a compadre, a friend, and an accomplice. We've been working together closely since then. It was a pretty amazing Human Rights Commission we had back in 1995. A very different Human Rights Commission than we experience today, and one that really you led into some really great areas. You know, later you were in Dave Frohnmeyer's office, and amazing things happened there. And it's just, Greg, to work beside you, when Steve Mokrahysky said, Greg Rickoff's coming to work with us, it was like when Dennis Erickson went to coach the Beavers. It's like, what? What happened? Nobody knows what that means, but it was a big deal. But Greg, thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to spend your time here in Lane County doing the things that you do. Thank you. And since it's National Zipper Day, in the great words of that are on the Delta Highway sign, right when you're merging on Beltline Road, let us merge like a zipper.
Commissioner Buck.
Thank you, Chair. Also, congratulations. I was there at the LCOG dinner, and it was perfect. They haven't, they've gotten away from, surprising people, but they got back to you to surprise you, and it felt really good to see you recognized. You quietly go about doing the good work here at the county, and you're extremely humble and exude a caring quality that I know everybody recognizes and appreciates. So thank you so much for doing all the good work that you do. And we know, this is just a few examples of what you do over the years, but it is your style, and that's what's needed here in the county. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Commissioner Trigger, go ahead, please.
I know you hate this. And I know we couldn't surprise you today. I was surprised that the LCOG dinner stayed a surprise until the moment, because you are so of so many things. I was like, how did he not learn of this? Because you seem to know so much before it happens. So that was great. We often use the word collaboration when what we mean is cooperation. We're just sort of working together and cooperating. True collaboration is when you create a thing that literally could not exist without all the people or organizations working together to create the thing. It's a unique something, and you have been part of true collaboration, and that takes patience and vision and a real commitment to a set of values and principles around justice and getting it right. And I just see you exemplify that in small and large ways every single day, and I'm so grateful that you do that for us here at Lane County. Thank you.
Vice Chair.
Thanks, Chair. Mr. Rickoff, we've gotten to know each other through the Public Safety Coordinating Council. And it's an honor to be on that board, and especially with great talent such as yourself. That board has oftentimes come across some tough budget woes. And there's oftentimes awkward silence in the room as we're just reflecting, where do we go from here? And Mr. Rickoff is always the one to break the room and to refocus and to keep everybody keep everybody's spirits as high as we can. And yes, we're on tough times, but we've got a job to do. Let's do it. You are that motivator. We're talking about Clint Riley. You don't talk guys like Clint Riley out of retirement without talent like Greg Rickoff. You were the right person to go and talk to him. So I appreciate that, and I really wanted to be here for that deflection, but Mr. Bovet and David Ward back there we were on our way to Florence for some legal stuff, and to try and break up some of the pressure on you right now. This was not the only place without a dry eye. I don't know if you've ever ridden with David Ward to Florence, but it's pretty scary. So thanks, Greg. Appreciate everything you do. We really do. Thank you.
Mr. Rickoff, as Commissioner Trigger said, that it's amazing that someone can hide things from you, but to say that we could hide most anything from you, but I'm thankful that you don't hide your talents from us, because you've done very well for the county, and I've learned a lot about you and about conflict resolution and that soft wait and see, let's navigate this peacefully and equitably voice that has taught me a lot as a commissioner in my short time being here. So I appreciate you and thank you for that, sir. And I know that there's things coming in your horizon very soon, but we're going to squeeze every last drop out of you we can before you go. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Again, congratulations, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Yes.
Okay, one more. As you can see on the screen, I think in the vault at our elections office is a group of our elections team in the room. We have here Lauren Blythe is joining us, who's our Director of Operations, and Rebecca Baker, who is our elections manager. As y'all know, Dina Dawson left us and went to the state we hate to lose great people, but when they go on, as Patience Winningham did, to become the Deputy Director of Office of Emergency Management, and when Dina Dawson left us to be the Director of Elections for the state of Oregon, it's a pretty great reflection of the type of people and leadership that we have in Lane County. So in addition to the Outstanding Public Employee Award that Lane County was recognized for through Mr. Rickoff, the award for Outstanding Intergovernmental Team was awarded to none other than Lane County's Elections Office at the LCOG event, the same LCOG event. And it was awarded to the elections team in Lane County for their impressive commitment to transparency, accountability, and customer service during a very difficult election year. We all know there was high turnout. There was, a lot of concerns and issues that were being raised across the country. And so the hyper vigilance that was required on behalf of elections offices was prevalent. And the team of folks, I had the opportunity, as a number of others did, to volunteer. So to sort of show up as a novice and be directed by the election staff, just an incredible operation. Wonderful volunteers who care deeply, but a dedicated permanent staff in elections that directs all of this activity and makes sure that, one, that people can trust our elections process because it's open, that it's accountable, that we're ensuring that every ballot is secured and is counted, and that there's incredible customer service to people. So all the things that have been done in the last couple years with, video monitoring. So now you can click on a link and you can watch all of the rooms at elections from the peace and quiet of your computer at home and see what's happening in different places. That you get the dashboards, right? These regular dashboard updates that you can find information that are updated at different touch points so people can clearly see what's changing, why it's changing, where that information is coming from. People can, view and experience the complexity and the security of the process, how closely we guard each and every ballot, and everyone's right to cast their ballot, and for that, every ballot to be counted. So again, I could go on and on with this. I do want to just recognize the folks here, and I'll call out their names: Rebecca Baker, Julia Barth, Tasha Brown, Carrie Fountain, Ryan Lee, Elise Sindelar Hodges, and our former county clerk, Dina Dawson, who did come to the LCOG dinner and shared some words along with the team. So I just want to thank, in particular, this team that we have here today with Rebecca and Lauren's guidance, and that we're sort of in this period of having this transitional period of having lost our elections clerk to be the director of the state elections office. The incredible work that this team is doing to continue. We have an election coming up here in May. It's like, it doesn't just happen in the presidential general elections. It's every year we have a different election cycle. So incredible work that continues to happen, and so thankful that our elections office was recognized this year. And I'd offer to Lauren or Rebecca if you'd like to share anything.
I'll defer to Rebecca.
You can just speak into it.
I just wanted to say thank you for having us here today. It's really great that the team got to be with us on Zoom. It is the voter registration deadline. We are at E-21, so I couldn't bring them all over with me, but thanks, guys. Thank you.
Congrats, very good.
Thank you, Chair.
All right, well, again, congratulations. Election office is an important division, and you guys have a lot of work to do, especially in these current times. So congrats on what you do, and thank you for what you do for the county. Lauren, thanks for supervising it. Your smile and your leadership's always welcome, sir. Good job.
Thank you, Chair.
All right, well, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mokrahysky. Well done. Item number 4, we have public comments. We do have a 10 o'clock time certain, and it looks like we're getting a few more as well. So one more, so that's 15. Okay, thank you. So what we're going to have to do today is we're going to take a public comment for 2 minutes per person. And please, if I call your name and you're on deck, please get ready to go so we can make sure we get our business of the county done before our 10 o'clock time certain. Public comments, as I said, is 2 minutes today, so please watch the clock on there. You can also submit public comments via our website at least 24 hours ahead of the meeting. We respect your First Amendment right as a tool to address your government with grievances and opinions, but we also admonish with everyone to do so in a civil manner, to be respectful and expressing yourself as well. And as board chair, I wish to request public commenters to please eliminate direct and personal attacks to particular board members in these public testimony times, as they seem to be unproductive in addressing the real and important issues our constituents are raising for our attention. So when you come to the podium, please state your name for the record and your time will begin. First person up is Joshua Keelis, followed by Deborah Higby, please.
Hi, Joshua Keelis from River Road Neighborhood. Dear Commissioners, I'm here before you today because I understand you'll be working on the issue of local access roads later today, and I wanted to use this moment to speak to you from the perspective of a homeowner on one of those streets. While I have no doubt this issue will be better known and understood going forward, those of us who currently own property on local access roads made our purchases without knowing what we were getting into. Nobody told us we were buying houses on public roads that are not maintained by the public. We were not informed that because we happen to live along these roads, we would need to become knowledgeable in their maintenance, somehow organize all of our neighbors, and personally pay for their repair. We don't own or have any control over these streets. We can't charge tolls or put up gates. We're in an untenable situation of the county's making, and it's very frustrating. I'm here to tell you that there is no world in which all the neighbors on a given street, including mine, will be able to agree on a course of action, much less afford it. I've recently tried, and it's not happening. We're stuck. I know that Public Works is currently trying to dissuade you from taking on responsibility for maintaining these public county roads. And I know this situation is a big headache that they don't want to deal with. But at this time, you have hundreds and hundreds of constituents, fellow community members, road taxpayers, who are unjustly dealing with this burden. In our hands, there is no clear solution, and the problem is only going to get worse over time. In your hands, it's a problem that is solvable. So I'm urging the county to step up and take on the responsibility for maintenance because it's the right thing to do.
Thank you, Mr. Keelis.
Thank you.
Time is up. Thank you very much for your public comment. Deborah Higby, followed by Laura Shu, please.
Hello, Chair Lovell and Vice Chair Seneca. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak this morning. My name is Deborah Higby, and I live on Dalton Road in the River Road area. There are 700 plus local access roads in the combined River Road and Santa Clara area. They're public roads that are used by the public good, but homeowners carry the burden of road access, maintenance, liability, and taxes. This is not sustainable and needs to be changed. LARs are public roads that are used for the public good, and because of this, they cannot be blocked off to allow just the homeowners to use. LARs must allow garbage trucks, cement trucks, and 3,000-pound cars with studded tires. The LAR homeowners must pay to maintain them so that the many can benefit, so that public and private vehicles of any weight can use them. The LAR property owners may be liable for any injuries or property damage sustained due to the unmaintained roads. LARs in the River Road and Santa Clara area are not different from non-LAR roads. All homeowners pay taxes, but LAR roads do not enjoy the tax benefits they pay into. This means money is being collected from everyone, but not everyone is being served. Therefore, public money is not being used in a way that equally benefits everyone. This situation is not sustainable. There are more than 1,000 LAR homeowners. They need you to govern for the many, not just the few. LAR homeowners must be given the same rights as the non-LAR homeowners. There's no reason that some Lane County citizens bear a burden larger than others. Therefore, we urge you to put the LARs into the county road system, the River Road and Santa Clara LARs, without requiring that they be brought up to current standards for new roads. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lori Jones, followed by Heather Scott, please. I'm sorry. Sherry Jones is, Laura Shu is next, followed by Sherry Jones. Thank you.
That's a relief.
Okay, almost got axed out. Sorry about that.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here to speak to you about local access roads. Last week or last month, I can't remember, last week, I spoke to you on behalf of the River Road Community Organization Board Today I'm speaking to you as an individual, and I'm not here to rehash everything I've said to you already. I would encourage you, if you haven't had a chance to read the rebuttal that I wrote to the Public Works report, that you cancel your lunch meeting and read it over lunch. But I do think it provides a more perspective into River Road and Santa Clara LARs. My main purpose for being here is to present more petition signatures to you. On March 18th, we presented you with 60 signatures of River Road residents urging you to take these roads into the county road system. Today, we've got another 117 signatures for you, so we're up to 177. This is a slow process. We've got to educate people on this issue from the ground up because they have no idea they're on an LAR. But so we've barely scratched the surface, but we're committed to continuing with the work as long as we need to. Thank you very much for your attention to this issue, and I look forward to seeing you this afternoon in the work session.
Great, thank you so much. Sherry Jones, followed by Heather Scott, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Sherry Jones, and I use she, her pronouns. And I'm here to thank you all today. I want to thank you for listening to the community. It's been such an emotional and powerful for so many of us. I'm sure it is for you, as it has been for those that are here testifying, and for those that can't come and testify for fear of, whether it's fear of public speaking or fear for their personal safety. As a parent and an educator, I cannot move through this world without thinking about my community and the people that need our support, as I know and hope that all of you as public servants do as well. In fact, everyone here most likely does. Building community and building a stronger support for all of Lane County residents does include transgender people and our immigrant populations, and thank you for recognizing that. Thank you to Commissioners Trieger, Buck, and Farr for voting to include language in the sanctuary statement that reflects our humanity now and in the future. Thank you also to the team that wrote and crafted the language and included the language from the community that is impacted. And thank you to all the commissioners for listening to the people of Lane County. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. Heather Scott, followed by Jacob Griffin, please.
Thank you, Commissioners, for hearing public input. My name is Heather Scott. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a mother and psychologist in private practice. I'm very happy and appreciative that Commissioners Trieger, Buck, and Farr voted in favor of the Lane County Board of Commissioners statement reaffirming our county's commitment to upholding the Oregon Sanctuary Promise Act and supporting transgender community members. This is a very important step towards helping many of our most vulnerable friends and loved ones feel safer and increasing safety and community for all of us. I am deeply disappointed and disturbed that 2 of you did not vote to support this, even after hearing so many immigrant and trans community members describe their fears and lack of safety under the current federal regime, which misrepresents and targets these groups. You heard many of us, including me, a psychologist licensed in Oregon for over 20 years, describe the serious negative mental health impacts of all the hate and violence targeting these groups right now. Transgender people have existed throughout time in all cultures. Those in our community suffer because they are targets of bias, hate, and violence, as well as systemic oppression, not because of their gender identity in and of itself. That is not pathological. Who among us has not experienced the pain of feeling rejected or berated, if not violently harmed, for being our authentic self at one time or another? And why would any among us try to dampen the light and spark of another human being or see that light as a threat? Undocumented people and their families contribute significantly to our communities here and across the country. So many work excessively for low wages and pay taxes, but do not receive the benefits of doing so. Many of us in the history of this country have moved from one place to another in hopes of a better future for ourselves and our children. I am dismayed and outraged.
Sorry, Heather, your time is up. Thank you. Next up is Jacob Griffin, followed by Emily Heilbrunn.
Good morning. My name is Jacob Griffin. My pronouns are he, him. It's nice to be here again, and it's nice to be saying thank you this morning. And first, I want to say thank you to your staff. What an amazing group of people. I was a city and county and other places employee for years, and I have rarely seen such care and compassion and really hard listening from staff, and I was so pleased. And I want to thank our supporters who came out here week after week, CIS allies who just thought what was decent was to show up, and I appreciate it. And most of all, I appreciate the 3 commissioners who voted for this. Your compassion, your bravery. Timothy Snyder, the authoritarian expert, says that the thing to do is to not obey in advance. And I was so afraid that the words coming out of our federal government would frighten you and you would not do this. And I am so proud of you. I do not know a single thing about any of the 3 of you's religious or spiritual values at all. But I know who you are as human beings. I've seen your compassion and I've seen your strength and your courage. And I admire you and I appreciate you. And let me tell you, I have very rarely said that to politicians, so you should take it for what it is. You've done a lot for young people, and I am so scared for young trans people right now, just terrified. And I can't thank you enough. No matter what, you've told those children that some government knows that they have value, that some people in their government know that we need to protect and get them to adulthood, and they'll be the citizens that will change this world. So thank you again.
Thank you. Emily Heilburn, followed by Bess Noble, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Emily Heilbrunn. I live in Lane County. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a member of the Trans Alliance of Lane County. I'll be very brief this morning. I wish I were as eloquent as my friend Jacob, who just preceded me, but like him, I'm here to say thank you. Thank you to all of you for listening to all of us and everyone who spoke. Thank you particularly to Commissioner Farr, Commissioner Trieger, and Commissioner Buck for voting in favor of the statement, which will make a really significant difference to immigrants and trans people in our community, and also to the groups, as the statement says, other groups who may be targeted. So this is not just about them, it's about any group that may particularly become the target. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Bess Noble, followed by Amanda Noble Flannery.
Good morning. My name is Bess Noble, and I live in Lane County. I want to thank you for your support for the trans immigrant issues in our community. I also want to acknowledge all the many hours of the public comments and hard work by our community members. They have rallied a wide range of support from diverse citizens in Lane County. I want to talk a bit today about someone who has influenced my life and has helped to motivate me to become a more loving person. This could be my husband, but today the person I want to talk about is Jesus. I am not a Christian, yet I find his teachings are meaningful to remember in these challenging times. Jesus, at the beginning of his life, was a refugee to Egypt to avoid a death decree. He, as far as we can imagine, was brownish-skinned, long-haired, sandal-wearing, tax-paying, and at times homeless, non-violent, and unarmed Palestinian, and a liberal, observant Jew. The foundations of his teachings is in the Beatitudes in the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 5, where he spoke of being merciful as well as having compassion. He blessed the peacemakers for striving for harmony and reconciliation. He promoted the golden rule. He asked us to work on improving our own behavior before criticizing the behavior of others, knowing that our efforts of improvement will not be perfect. Even so, we should still try to improve our behavior. His teachings remind us to be cautious and thoughtful before blaming others. In Matthew 25, he extols us to approach each other with compassion and not as if we are on a battlefield. He taught us that we are all brothers and sisters reflecting the image of God. We are made to have connections with each other,
Thank you, Bess. Your time is up. I'm sorry.
and we need to help each other, and I thank you for your support.
Thank you. Amanda Noble Flannery, followed by Ellie Graham, please.
Good morning. My name is Amanda Noble Flannery. My pronouns are she, her. I'm part of the Trans Alliance of Lane County. Today, I'm going to read a letter on behalf of the Trans Alliance. Dear Commissioners Farr, Trieger, and Buck, on behalf of the Trans Alliance of Lane County, we extend our heartfelt gratitude for your affirmative vote on April 22nd, 2025, in support of the county statement affirming our immigrant and trans community members. Your leadership sends a clear message, not only to trans and gender diverse people, but to all Lane County residents, that inclusion, safety, and equity are values we uphold together. When our county stands up for its most vulnerable, we all benefit. Stronger protections, clearer commitments to justice, and a culture of belonging make our communities healthier, more resilient, and more connected. At a time when so many marginalized groups are being targeted, your courage and clarity provide hope. You remind us that Lane County can be a place where all people, regardless of gender identity, race, ability, documentation status, or background, can live and learn and thrive. Thank you for standing on the side of dignity, compassion, and community. We are grateful for your leadership, and we look forward to continuing the work of building a better future for all who call Lane County home. With sincere appreciation, Trans Alliance of Lane County. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ellie Graham, followed by Bill Compton, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. I emailed in my statement. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to be here today, so I'll just shorten it to this thank you. Thank you so much. I am just deeply touched by the statement that was released. I'd like to specifically thank you for adding the line about ongoing policy updates. I believe that our government office should reflect our values, and it does. I believe that we should lead by example and that we should practice what we preach. I'd also like to thank this community for showing up so persistently in favor of this effort. It takes a lot of grit and compassion to show up and speak truth to power while fighting your own right to exist. It's been a long journey, and I'm grateful to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill Compton, followed by Terry Pratt, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Compton with Direct Connect Humanitarian Aid. And our logo is "We are helping the helpers help the helpless." That resonates with me in regards to supporting Lane County Police Services, particularly Lane County Sheriff's Office. I want to share with you an example that happened to me 24 years ago. I was in Belarus, and my wife called me frantically, terrified because someone was banging on our door at 2 o'clock in the morning. Come to find out, it was two men that were banging on the door at 2 o'clock in the morning, and she was holding her little baby, my youngest. And I was terrified because my two boys were with Grandma and Grandpa in town. And I told her to call 911, and she immediately called 911. And thankfully, 10 minutes later, two deputies showed up. And she stayed on the line after she hung up with 911, and then she got a call, "Oh, the deputies are here," and they came to the door, and she was obviously visibly shaken. The deputies walked around the house. We had just put in a new lawn area, and footprints of two large men walked around the house, and they had actually taken off a screen from our back window. What would have happened if my wife would have been raped and my son and wife maybe killed? In 10 minutes, Lane County was there. And right now, presently, it takes 76 minutes for a response for a domestic violence or assault. I asked the sheriff this morning what that was, and he said that's exactly what it is right now. What could happen in 76 minutes to my wife and my child? That could be your child, your spouse. I would ask you to consider that what was 24 years ago, again from Cliff Harold, Sheriff Cliff Harold, 20 more deputies is what's needed. That's what he told me. would I ask you please to consider 20 more deputies? So if
Thank
that
you, Bill.
happens,
Your time is up, sir. I'm sorry.
thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
Terry Pratt, followed by Anna Lardner, please.
Good morning, I'm Terry Pratt. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a resident of Lane County. I want to thank the commissioners for passing the statement reaffirming Lane County's commitment to the Oregon Sanctuary Promise Act in support of the transgender community. I especially want to thank the 3 commissioners who voted yes. The most vulnerable and threatened residents of Lane County deserve to know that their fellow residents and officials stand against discrimination, lawlessness, and threats to their well-being. As we close in on 4 decades of standing with all residents of the state, whether immigrants, refugees, or transgender folks, we face unprecedented threats to the well-being of our community members. To the commissioners who voted against the statement of support, you failed to affirm protections for all people in Lane County. You failed to stand with the basic humane treatment and rights of immigrants, refugees, and transgender folks, and you failed those individuals and all residents of Lane County. In these uncertain times, we need to stand with our most vulnerable and delegitimized community members, thus lessening tensions by showing undeniable solidarity. Thank you.
Thank you. Anna Lardner, followed by David Eigel.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Anna Lardner. My pronouns are she, her. I'm struck by Bill Compton, who always starts the meetings by saying that people don't give thanks enough to commissioners and public servants, and that's what we're here to do today, is to give thanks to people. It's hard to think of all the people to give thanks to, but I love that some of my colleagues at the Trans Alliance of Lane County started by thanking the staff. Right now, that's going to be Mr. Bovet and Mr. Mokerheisky, but there's so many more people to thank. Thank you to Lane County's staff for hearing the concerns of the most marginalized groups in Lane County right now and working with us and working amongst yourselves to create a statement that really is beautiful and brought tears to the eyes of so many across the county. So thank you for that commitment. That is what public service is about, and you exemplified it in the last few weeks. I also want to thank all the supporters that have showed up, both the supporters that are here today, as well as all the supporters who may be listening at home and who have been here in the past. Without those hundreds of people who came to Harris Hall, this would have been very difficult to accomplish. But their pressure, their presence showed that this is not just a niche issue that is only promoted by the few that it affects directly. It affects all of us. So thank you to those supporters. And finally, I want to thank the 3 commissioners who voted yes for this, Commissioners Farr, Trieger, and Buck. Your courage and your exemplary leadership in these challenging times is a testament to what makes Lane County a beautiful place to live and stay. I haven't quoted anyone, I think, in any of my statements so far on this podium, but I'm reminded of Dr. Martin Luther King's quote about the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. And you 3 helped bend it just that slight bit towards justice in these very dark times. And for that, I thank you.
Thank you. David Eigel, and followed by Elliot Harwell, please.
David Eigel. I've emailed the commissioners a copy of a 2019 written exchange with Jennifer Ye. She was communicating in her role as a Eugene City Council member. I hope you'll each take the time to review this short exchange. After 5.5 years, she has still not responded to my question of why it was desirable to misrepresent the life of Professor Dunn, who wasn't the local exalted Cyclops here in the 1920s. My new webpage, only two pages, documents the timeline of the faulty scholarship that led to the denaming. The Lane County History Museum's disgraceful Racing to Change exhibit was loaded with insulting misinformation, including that the Reverend Frederick Jennings of St. Mary's Episcopal Church was an active Klansman. In fact, he was it's documented, it's in the paper, he was a vocal opponent. Lane County is primarily funded by the funder of the museum. I ask that you use your offices to ensure that this summer the museum informs the community of the misinformation that has been provided in the past. I have upped my game in terms of spreading information. I've got thousands of emails already out to different educators, and this is going to be expanded fairly soon. There'll be tens of thousands of people contacted about this. And if necessary, I will personally fund and arrange for distribution of people outside the gates to provide information about this. It's really kind of sad, and there's no reason we can't all get together on this and let people know what the truth was. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Elliot Harwell, and then we'll have one person online.
Hello, my name is Elliot Harwell. I live in Commissioner Lovell's district, but I'm represented by Commissioners Buck, Traeger, and Farr. I want to thank the three of you for shouldering the burden of passing Lane County's Sanctuary Promise Statement. As someone who has moved to this area for its welcoming nature and its emphasis on civil rights, I appreciate that. Oregon hasn't always had a good history with that. It's not always been a diverse place for people to live. But here, over the past several decades, people like you have made an effort to change that. Just to our north, Corvallis passed a sanctuary city promise for trans and queer people only a few days before our county passed one. It's nice to be in a part of a world where more and more people are standing up and doing the right thing. Thank you to the three of you. I'm disappointed in Commissioners Lovell and Seneca. You had a choice and a chance to join with the other three commissioners and do something right and good. You listened to people in this audience who warned about an alliance between queers and foreigners. You listened to someone, an ex-con, stand here and say that he was going to take it into his own hands, protecting his daughter against trans people. The same man who whispered slurs to my friends as he took his seat. You listened to people like that, and then you decided that those were the sorts of people you were going to support with your 2 nay votes. I'm disappointed, and I'm at least glad that a majority of my government did the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Jessica, we have one online, and that would be our last one for the day.
Thank you, Chair. For those joining us virtually, if you would like to give public comment, please raise your virtual hand. I do not see any hands raised, Chair.
Okay, well, good. Thank you very much then. I appreciate everyone coming out again today. Thank you for your public comments. We have a time certain at 10 o'clock, so I'd like to make a little shift here. Mr. Mokrasky, I'd like to move the consent calendar until after our time certain and would like to now move into our 6A item in the matter of reporting on the clarity of the community benefits bidding program expectations for subcontractors per a board assignment dated 6/4/24. And with us, looks like we have David Ward, our Capital Planning and Facilities Manager, and Mr. Sean Hubble, our Procurement Manager. So gentlemen, welcome. How are you today? Happy Zipper Day.
Doing well, thank you.
Good, thank you. Proceed, please.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. Today, David and I will be reporting back on the clarity of the requirements of the Community Benefits Bidding Program. And as you mentioned, this is per the board's request on June 4th of 2024. I'll start with giving a brief history of the program. The Community Benefits Bidding Program was established by the board in October of 2020 with the goal of supporting vibrant communities by requiring on certain projects that workers receive a living wage, full family employer-paid health insurance, and that the contractor has a registered apprenticeship program in place with the State of Oregon Bureau of Labor and Industries. Program's now in its 4th year. The county has made various modifications to the program, either on a policy level, such as modifying the threshold limit, or on a procedural level, such as clarifying the pre-qualification language. So next we'll review how the community benefits bidding processes work. Contractors may pre-qualify for the Community Benefits Bidding Program at any time. However, we do require 2 weeks to review the application. Therefore, we encourage interested contractors to go ahead and apply early rather than waiting for an actual bid opportunity to arise. Applications are submitted via email to the procurement office, where we confirm the contractor is licensed with the State Construction Contractors Board, that the contractor has an apprentice training program registered with the State of Oregon Bureau of Labor and Industries. Yes. Once a contractor is pre-qualified, they can submit bids or act as a first-tier subcontractor on community benefits bidding projects for up to 2 years. At the end of the 2-year period, we do require requalification. At the time of bidding, pre-qualified contractors and applicable subcontractors are required to submit a signed affidavit. The affidavit certifies that they will provide the living wage, full family employee paid health insurance, and will maintain an apprenticeship program and encourage apprentices to participate on the project. During the project, the county reviews certified payroll reports to confirm the living wage and health benefits are being provided to the trades workers. So we have many steps in this process. If a contractor is not able to meet the requirements, that does not disqualify them from bidding on county work. It just restricts them from bidding on community benefits bidding projects, which are projects over $500,000, or acting as a first-tier subcontractor on these projects. If a contractor pre-qualifies but then fails to adhere to the program requirements, we will follow the same process that we would if the contractor was to fail to complete any other contract requirement. We would have a documented discussion with the contractor. Then we may issue a notice to cure, and as needed, we could ultimately terminate the contract. In addition, a contractor can be disqualified for the program for a set amount of time, whereby they would not be permitted to bid on community benefits bidding projects. But again, they could bid on other projects that were not considered community benefit bidding projects. I'll turn it over to David here to report on how the program is going.
Thanks. So as Sean mentioned, the program has been reviewed and improved on over the last 4 years, and that constant review and improvement will continue as opportunities arise. And we've definitely learned some lessons on some recent projects that we wanted to highlight. First, we need to highlight the process for a general contractor substituting a first-tier subcontractor on a project. Specifically, that the proposed substitution needs to be in writing to the county, and that the proposed subcontractor is currently on the list of pre-qualified community benefits bidding program contractors. And second, if at time of bid, a first-tier subcontractor does not have a proper license endorsement on their State of Oregon Construction Contractors Board license, we will deem the general contractor's bid as non-responsive and move to the next lowest bid. So going forward, we will be making some specific improvements to the program as per this assignment. First, we intend to add contract language that gives the county the right to directly contact workers for the purpose of confirming that the program requirements have been met. Second, we will review our project bidding and contract documents to ensure that community benefits bidding program requirements are consistent and clearly stated throughout the documents. Third, implement procedures for county project staff to send letters to community benefits bidding project trades workers with instructions on how to contact the county if they are not receiving the proper benefits. And finally, we will seek opportunities to establish memorandums of understanding with various local and regional partners and organizations to help support this work, and specifically to be an additional resource to help monitor contractor compliance with our program requirements. So overall, we feel the project has been highly successful, and our contractor participation and engagement has grown substantially. In July of 2023, our program only had 19 pre-qualified contractors, and as of today, actually this morning, we have 75. And they are all pre-qualified, which represents more than threefold increase during the last 2 years, and in fact, in less than 2 years. The program provides an avenue to mitigate risk and provides the best value on our large projects for the benefit of the entire county. Thank you.
All right, awesome, very well done. Comments from the board or questions for the staff? Yes, Commissioner Buck.
Thank you, Chair. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know that we asked you to look at this a while ago, and you have. I think it's been over the course of the last year, really been doing a deep dive into the program and working with community members in order to make it the best that it can be. I support all the improvements that you're making. I appreciate you being so diligent about, really looking at each administrative policy within the program to see if it's actually working the way that it was intended to work. And the way that you go about your work with the community is, I've gotten really good feedback. So thank you so much.
Commissioner Farr.
Thanks for the work and thanks for the updates and the continued scrutiny of the program, making certain that it meets as requirements or as needs come forward, it becomes a part of the program. A reminder to everybody that community benefits not just for the contractors, it's not just for the building, it's not just for the job being done, it's for the workers. And it's for everybody who lives in Lane County. We have experience with subcontracting on jobs here in Lane County that creates a very unhealthy work experience for the people who are actually performing the work, as well as the people who are on the job beside them. So I really appreciate this diligence. I really appreciate bringing it forward, and it has my support. Thank you very much for the ongoing scrutiny once again.
Commissioner Trieger.
Thank you. I'll just add my appreciation for the work, and thank you, Commissioner Farr, for bringing up that this is also an important part of worker protection. We're in the midst of doing our strategic planning, and I was just reviewing the draft strategic plan last week and thinking about, our contractors are really, by extension, they're representing the county on job sites and in the work that they do. So it's important that any kinds of programs that we put in place, community benefits bidding protocol being one of them, reflects back all the way through this organization, because while they're independent entities, these contractors, once they sign a contract with us, they are reflecting this organization and the work that we do. And that particularly extends, as Commissioner Farr mentioned, to the workers to make sure that they have safe working conditions. And basically what I see is this is about integrity, which is one of our core values, that our contractors have integrity in meeting the terms of their contract. And we have created a strong program whereby those terms reflect our value of integrity. And so I love that we have a stronger program that creates some accountability for ensuring that that integrity is maintained, but it's not punitive. It's really just helping support people in keeping their word, and if they can't for some reason, working with them to help get better. And I really like that you said we're working on the Memorandum of Understanding and other opportunities to work with local and regional partners around compliance, and hopefully this will become more and more of a standard for more and more jurisdictions and other entities to put CBBs in place as we get to be the sort of proving ground for how to do that successfully and how it really raises the bar, the quality of the work and the experience for the workers across the board. So thank you.
Thank you. Good. Thank you for briefing each one of us individually, too, and getting us into the nitty-gritty of that, too. And, Commissioner Farr said this was also good for the workers, but it's good for the customer. It's Lane County. Lane County is the one paying for the work and using tax dollars in the most wisest way. I can remember last Thursday, I had to bust a 2-foot hole and 6 inches of concrete and dig 29 inches down to a pipe that was not properly installed by a plumber who was probably not part of the apprenticeship program, and all the reasons why we do what we do here. So I have got firsthand knowledge in the last week of how that works the opposite way when it doesn't work. So I appreciate all the work that you've done for that and what this program does for making sure us, as the customer of Lane County, get the best services and work that we can buy with our dollars. So thank you very much. Anything else? Anything from staff? All right. Thank you so much. We have a 10 o'clock time certain, and we're right on time for. This would be a report in the matter presenting the results of the Lane County, Oregon annual audits for the fiscal year ending June 30th of 2024. This is a state-required annual audit for the public. And with us, we have Greg Holmes, our Financial Services Manager and County Treasurer. And we had a few other people on the list, but it looks like Greg's going to go solo today. So there you go, Greg. Take it away.
Well, good morning, Chair and Commissioners.
Oh, they're on remote. There you go. I should have looked to the left. There you go.
It's my privilege to present the annual comprehensive finance report and levy reports for the year ending June 30th, 2024. This is a comprehensive report that offers a detailed overview of Lane County and our financial position and activities at year end. They adhere to the Governmental Accounting Standards Boards, and our levy compliance is promised to the voters. So today, to ensure the accuracy and integrity of our reporting, we engaged Moss Adams, an independent auditing firm, to thoroughly examine our financial reports. And their role was to assess the fairness and compliance with our financial reporting and established accounting principles. And today we're joined remotely by Amanda Moore, a partner, and Kevin Mullery, a senior manager from Moss Adams. They'll present the audit findings, including auditor's opinion and the financial statements and any significant observations they may have. And so following Moss Adams, Cheryl Harrell, Greg Rickoff, and Brett Henry are here to comment on the levies and the process for you. And also included in your packet is a motion to formally accept the ACFR. So we value the expertise and impartiality that Moss Adams brings to this process. We look forward to their insights. And with that, I'll hand it off to Amanda. Or Kevin.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
We can. Thank you.
Okay, great. So, hi everyone, I'm Amanda Moore, a partner with Moss Adams, responsible for the Lane County audit. But I did want to start off with a little bit of exciting news at Moss Adams. So, just so that everybody's know, you may have already heard, but we will be merging with Baker Tilly in June. And we will be taking on the name of Baker Tilly probably around January. So we'll still be operating as Moss Adams throughout the end of the year. We're really excited about the merger. It's really going to expand our geographical footprint throughout the U.S., as well as bring in some additional industry expertise, specifically in the government industry group, which we're really excited about. Baker Tilly has a really large government practice that specializes in a lot of consulting services, and so we're really excited to get to start working with them. What this will not change for the county is that you're still going to have your consistent team with our communication, and we're honoring our fees and contracts. But I assume at least some of you have heard about the merger, so at least wanted to mention it before we get started on our audit presentation. And with that, I will get started unless anybody has any questions. So we completed the audit under multiple different auditing standards. We do follow the generally accepted auditing standards as well as the governmental auditing standards as part of auditing the county's ACFR. In addition, because you're an Oregon municipality, we also do follow the Oregon minimum audit standards and issue additional report as a result of that. And then lastly, we do follow the uniform guidance to audit your federal grant programs for the single audit as well. And just one other item to highlight there is that the county does put together a full ACFR, meaning it has the additional information required by the GFOA in order to obtain the GFOA Certificate of Excellence. And so we do review the ACFR to make sure it's still meeting all of those additional requirements so that you continue to get that award. As a result of following all of those auditing standards, we do issue our 4 audit reports. The first one is over the financial statements of the county. And so we issued what is considered to be a clean or unmodified opinion over the financial statements or ACFR of the county. That means we were able to get comfortable based on all of our test work that the financial statements were prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and that we did not identify any material errors to modify that opinion. So overall, some really good news there. The second report is our governmental auditing standards report, and this is the report over internal controls over financial reporting and on compliance and other matters. And we did not identify any internal control findings that were required to be included in this report, as well as we did not identify any material instances of non-compliance with laws and regulations that are required to be included in that report. So nice, clean report there as well. The next report is the Oregon State Regulations Report. So additionally, this is similar to that governmental auditing standards report where we're looking at internal controls and compliance. These compliance requirements are very specific to the Oregon revised statutes when we're testing items such as budget law, procurement, how you're using your gas tax funding, how you're investing your cash in investments, and making sure that you're following those standards required in Oregon. Similar to the governmental auditing standards report, we did not identify any internal control deficiencies that were required to be included in this report. We did have one instance of non-compliance that was reported related to 4 excess expenditures over appropriation. In Oregon, even if you're over by $1, it's required to be reported in this report. Relatively common reporting finding in that report, and so that was our only item to include in there. The last report is over the single audit, and in the current year, we audited 4 major programs for the county. The first one was the Highway Planning and Construction Program. The second one was your Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds Program, or your ARPA funding. The third one was Health Center Program Cluster. And then the last one that was required to be audited was the Block Grants for Community Mental Health Services. And we issued unmodified or clean opinions over each 4 of those programs. Additionally, in that report, if there were internal control deficiencies over compliance, and so different than your internal controls over financial reporting, you do have to maintain internal controls over compliance as well. And we did not report any internal control deficiencies that were required to be reported in that report as well. So overall, really clean report there. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Kevin to go through some of the other 2 engagements that we performed for the county.
Thanks, Amanda. I'll talk first about the Jail and Youth Services Levy Examination Report. We issued that in early February. There's 2 main parts to that report. The first is a schedule of activities during the year. Is presented showing all the revenues, expenditures, changes in fund balance. And we determined that that was presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. Board, or I'll talk about the jail activity revenue fund. Continue for jail. Indeed, the third is that the county operates 25 beds FY24, and that was the case. And then with regard to youth services, that 16 youth detention spaces were operated during the year, and that 16 treatment spaces were operated during the year. Now, with treatment, that was the case until the end of February, and then service was paused. There was a licensing transition between Oregon DHS and Oregon Corrections, so that's discussed in our report. The fifth assertion is that the tax levy is divvied out 91% is supporting jail services, and then the remaining 9% supports critical youth services. And then the last assertion is that as part of the financial statement audit that Amanda discussed, we specifically audit the tax levy and as a major fund, and we issued a clean opinion on our audit report there. So I think that's all good news for that. And then I'll turn the attention to the first tax levy exam we did for the parks. That's a new levy this year. We issued that report in early February as well. So the first part there is there's a schedule that walks through the FY24 expenditures, revenues, changes in fund balance for that fund. And we saw that that was presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. And then that fund has 4 assertions based on the board's order and the ballot measure that the community passed previously. The first assertion is there's a special revenue fund that is dedicated to those activities for the parks levy. We also saw that the parks levy collected 16 cents per $1,000 of assessed value. And then the third assertion is that levy fund expenditures would be dedicated to 4 main park service aspects. So each of those, the first is park investments and improvements, maintenance and operations, special projects related to parks, and then conservation and education. So we tested a number of expenditures, and we didn't identify any expenditures that were spent on anything other than those 4 primary items that were part of the ballot measure. And then the fourth item, just like with the public safety levy, the parks levy fund was also audited as part of the financial statement audit, and we issued a clean opinion on the parks levy fund. So that was a result of our our 2 examination reports issued in February. And I think that's what we wanted to discuss there, and I'll turn it over to the board or Greg.
All right, thank you. Anything else to add, Greg?
I do not, but I'm here for the sheriff.
Looks like the sheriff's coming forward. Please come. Yes.
Thank you, Chair Lovall and commissioners, and of course our friends at Moss Adams. So I appreciate this annual opportunity. As I watched this very, very important levy initially be passed and restore services that we had lost here in Lane County, these assertions being a very important part of the communication to our community, our taxpayers, about why they should support that. And then as I watched Sheriff Trapp go through the renewal process, and then as I engaged in the renewal process in 2023, holding all of those community meetings and talking to our community and the taxpayers and assuring them that this is how their dollars would be spent. And so I appreciate that once a year we get to hear this report and confirm. And frankly, I'm very proud of Lane County government that we are taking a pause on this day to confirm to the community this is how your tax dollars are spent. Yeah, we're all taxpayers, and so sometimes we might wonder where our tax dollars for these party. Of course, no surprises from what Moss Adams found, but I appreciate the moment. And I'm proud directions really in our institution, and really proud of the way Lane County manages its jail, and that's possible because of this levy. So,
yes, Sheriff, and those 2 behind you as well.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yes, thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate it very much, Mr. Rickoff, sir.
Chair Lovell, commissioners, ditto to everything the sheriff said. Our ability to keep our word is critical as we have confidence built for us in the community. I did want to flag the one item that was brought up. This was the year we switched from our voluntary behavior rehabilitation services program to a secure stabilization and treatment program. So we knew this was going to happen at some point. We do have all of the approvals we need from the state of Oregon to be running the secure treatment program. That happened, and I do have Patty Robb with me. You could probably help me better with the dates and the clarification of exactly how the transition worked between the two programs.
Absolutely. Happy to be here today. Thank you. So we did pause in February to transition and have staff trained, and we have a clinical programs unit who was very much a part of this planning. So developing the curriculum, making sure we were evidence-based. We had several listening sessions, which our court had requested and wanted to engage the community fully in moving forward and developing that program. If you look at our data with the state detention in 2023, we brought in around 200 youth that were detained, and 2024 that went up to almost 300 youth. So there's an uptick in detainable youth that's happening. We're of course looking at why that's happening and trying to prevent that. But on the other side of that, as youth come in, they need stabilization, and that is our focus, is stabilization and treatment. And this unit is addressing those issues effectively.
Great, well done, well done. Anyone else wants to come forward? Brett, I notice you're out there with the parks, anything?
Yeah, I'm not here to, I guess, promote the levy or a renewal, but just to thank the commissioners for the support throughout the years and also the public in getting that trust. And as you can see through the clean audit, that we certainly value tax dollars and want to make sure that it's been spent appropriately. I really want to, thank especially Commissioner Trieger and Commissioner Buck and Commissioner Farr for their support of the levy back in 2022. So other than that, it's just it's a pleasure to be able to continue our recreation programs here in the county, and just really humbled to be able to say that. So thank you.
Great, thank you for your comments. To the board, any questions or comments for staff for those? Yes, Commissioner Trieger.
Thank you. Just briefly, I think the tax levy is one of the highest of my bars on that to get the support. How much those families are reporting back, how much they appreciate the recent adjustment to fees for folks in that program. But I also ran into, watching Eugene Marathon go by near my house on Sunday morning, ran into Larry Craig and a couple of the other folks that have been here to talk about David's Chair, and he again made a point of saying how much the trail maintenance work and the access that David's Chair provides, and how great it's been to work with you and your team at Parks Department has meant to him and his community of folks who use wheelchairs to get around. So thank you for all you're doing there, and just we've only just begun, as to quote Karen Carpenter, on seeing the fruit of the labors of getting that levy passed as the work starts happening in our parks. It's really exciting. It's such an outward-facing public opportunity for people to really see the return on the investment they're making of public dollars into the assets that are our parks. So can't wait to see more and more of that good stuff. But just wanted you to hear the community is saying to me how much those improvements mean to them already, and those changes that you're making in your leadership in the department. Thank you. Thanks, Chair.
Commissioner Farr.
Thank you, Chair. While my family and I extended use parks dozens and dozens and dozens of times annually, I want to talk to the sheriff and to Captain Rice for a second and position where we are today based upon the day we initiated work on the levy years ago, when we stood by the back door getting public support for what seemed like an uphill battle at the time. And what was happening at the back door of the jail was that the early releases, dozens and dozens of early releases, some people who had very violent history, very violent crimes that they had committed or they were awaiting trial for, and position that to where we are today. And when I think about the jail today, I don't think about criminals. I think about people being rehabilitated. And that's what's happening in our jail, by and large, is when you see the programs that have been initiated and been strengthened by initially Captain Buckwall, perhaps, Captain Riley, and now Captain Rice, the things that are happening in our jail, you're changing the lives of the men and women who are adults in custody. And changing their lives, not just to make sure they don't come back, but that they feel better about the lives of jail. Turns in the last 10 years since the levy, and not just coincidentally since the levy passed, it allowed you the resources to do many of the things that are changing lives. Thank you for that. And thank you for the ongoing work. We have a report coming in soon from the Public Safety Funding Committee. Funding our public safety efforts in Lane County is of high interest to all of us. Seeing the results that happened by funding the jail can help us to understand the kind of results we can expect by a sustained funding of the entire Sheriff's Department, including rural patrol, and including a more sustainable way to fund the jail rather than having to go out every 4 years and say, can you help us again? So looking forward to those reports, looking forward to the work of this commission and the next commissions to make sure that our public safety funding is adequately and sustainably funded. Thank you very much again for the miracles you do on a daily basis.
Anyone else? Vice Chair.
Yes. Well, thanks, Brett. Yeah, I'm glad Commissioner Traeger brought up the David's chair. It's a huge hit over in the Florence area. I hear about those in the Moby mats all the time. I mean, I'll keep talking about those because they're getting the recognition they deserve. So great job. Well, just that and the transparency about how you've gone with this levy and the public input is greatly noted. Sheriff Harold, you and I spent quite a bit of time in cars trying to get this levy passed, or making sure we got this levy passed, side by side. Credit to Greg Rice, but as I always say, it's the speed of the boss. So the success and the gold star on that levy for what you guys are doing is a direct reflection of your leadership. And it's truly appreciated. So thank you.
Yes, echoed all those comments. It's great to see that we have such great people spending the taxpayers' money in such an integrous fashion. And I want to thank you also, too, for the Moss Adams folks. I can't imagine doing the job that you do, and I thank you so much. And Greg, for your team as well in the financial department, all those numbers and decimal points. I mean, math was one of my topics that I would prefer to skip that class, but thank you for not skipping those classes and doing the very best that you can for us and proving that we're doing the very best we can for our citizens. So I appreciate that very much. There's nothing else to add. We can move on, Greg, to our next item. Super. Thank you again so much. We have an order ahead of us on this item right here, Order 25042903, in the matter of presenting the results of this Lane County Annual Oregon Comprehensive Financial Report, the ACFR, and accepting the ACFR for the fiscal year ending June 30th of 2024. I'm looking for a motion.
Chair, I've got a motion.
Please.
I move to approve Order 25-04-29-03 in the matter of presenting the results of the Lane County Oregon Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, ACFR, accepting the ACFR for the fiscal year ended in June 30th, 2024.
Excellent. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Buck. Thank you. It's been moved by Vice Chair and seconded by Commissioner Buck for order number 25042903, moving in the matter of accepting the result of the Lane County, Oregon Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, the AFCR, for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. Is there any discussion to the motion? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you once again, everyone, for coming. Thank you for the report, and keep doing a stellar job. Good work. We've shifted a little bit. We're going to move back to item 5, our consent calendar. All items listed here are routine by the Board of County Commissioners and will be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion of these items. If the discussion would have been desired, the item would have been removed and it would have been considered separately. And the details of each items can be found in the blue links attached to the item descriptions in the agenda listed online. Do I have a motion for the consent calendar?
Chair, I have a motion to approve the consent calendar for April 29th, 2025.
Super. A second?
I'll second.
Seconding, please. Thank you, Vice Chair, for the motion and Commissioner Buck for the second. It's been motioned and approved to approve the consent calendar. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approves and passes 5-0. Thank you so much. Mr. Mokrajewski, I know you made some announcements before, but you're scheduled for a few more. Do you have a few more in your vest pocket there?
Just a couple brief items, Chair and Commissioners. The budget was released for the fiscal year 2025-26. Proposed budget for next fiscal year, which begins July 1st, was provided to the Budget Committee yesterday. It is available publicly, so anyone who's interested in seeing what our proposed budget looks like, we'll talk more about that next Tuesday. At 5:30 p.m., we'll have the Budget Committee. Of course, the 5 commissioners and 5 appointed residents who comprise the Budget Committee will meet Tuesday, May 6th at 5:30 p.m. here in Harris Hall to present that proposed budget to the Budget Committee, and then we'll have 3 Budget Committee work sessions, one on May 8th at 1 p.m., Tuesday, May 13th at 1 p.m., and Thursday, May 15th at 1 p.m. So those 3 work sessions, and then the Budget Committee will have its deliberations and vote on approval of the proposed budget on Tuesday, May 20th at 5:30 p.m. So that's the Budget Committee schedule. We'll be busy over the next couple weeks with that. Second, the strategic plan. Someone mentioned, I think Commissioner Trieger mentioned that you were reviewing this, so the commissioners all have the draft strategic plan. We are working on scheduling additional focus groups, follow-up engagement sessions with employees as well as with the community. So another round of public engagement, employee and public engagement that will happen on the strategic plan, but we're nearing sort of the end zone, if you will, on the strategic plan. Excited about that. And then finally, the Public Safety Funding Task Force is very close to wrapping up its work. We have a final draft that is still being circulated with the task force members for sort of final comments. Still in question whether or not we'll have one more meeting of the task force, depending on how much feedback we get on that final draft. If we don't need to have one more meeting, it's possible we could hit Wednesday, May 21st for a work session with the board to present the recommendations to you. That's the soonest we'll be able to get it to you. If we can't hit the 21st because we need to meet again with the task force based on comments that come back, then I think we're looking at probably the second week of June to bring recommendations. So a lot happening here, and look forward to those discussions on the budget, the strategic plan, and the Public Safety Funding Task Force, all of which kind of overlap each other in some ways, but it's all starting to come to fruition. So looking forward to that. Thank you.
Good work, good work. Before we recess for our afternoon session at 1:30 back in Harris Hall, we have need for executive session. Allow me please to read us in. The Board of County Commissioners will now meet in one executive session. This session is to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to carry on labor negotiations. This executive session is held pursuant to ORS 192.6602D, which allows the Board of Commissioners to meet in executive session for the purposes listed. Representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are precluded from attending. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. Members of the news media are not allowed to tape, video record, or otherwise record an executive session, and verbatim notes are prohibited. No decision may be made in executive sessions. We will return back here, as I said before, at 1:30 in Harris Hall. We are recessed, and we will meet back in executive session in 5 minutes at 10:35.